5 years ago, pay TV in Germany was considered hopeless, without any prospect for sustainable profits. The public TV system, nurtured by high license fees, seemed to be so powerful. Then Sky took over and started what many called a mission impossible. Mission accomplished? Welcome to Vorstandssitzung, the TV board meeting of DAF, discussing business trends with chief executives. Our guest today is Brian Sullivan. He is CEO of Sky Deutschland, and he's a veteran of pay TV, has worked for the industry in the US and Europe. And since he took office at Sky Deutschland, the share price has increased tenfold. Not bad. And we look at this, Brian, straight away. Here we have the nice development of the share price of Sky Germany. So obviously, I must say, there is a lot of advance praise in the price of this stock development. So what are you? Are you proud that obviously the market is recognizing what you're doing, or are you a little bit worried that there are too high expectations?
Interesting question. I don't think I'm either. I'm not proud because it's not anything that I individually have done. To the extent that the company has made good progress over the last 4 years, it has been, I know every CEO says this, but I can tell you without a doubt that it is true that it has been an absolute team effort. There is not a person at Sky who hasn't worked as hard as they possibly could to turn us into the kind of service that customers want. And I also don't think we're done. It's the nature of our business that I think people like to think of us as a turnaround, but you're always changing and you're always reinventing yourself. So there really isn't an end game. Maybe I'll be proud when I turn 60 or 65 and I look back and I see the accomplishment. On your second question, am I worried? No, we've had a relatively volatile stock price for the entire time I've been here. Can I play with your touchscreen?
Yes, you can do that.
So what you're missing here is I started in 2010.
Yeah.
And when I came in 2010, the share price went like that. Oops.
It's all right. Yes, you just have to start there. Yeah,
there we go.
Is, yeah.
It went like that.
Yeah.
And then it went up, and then it went down. We have a very small free float.
Yeah.
And because of that, our share price has been quite volatile the whole time.
Yeah. So as long as volatility shows up, it's fine. Let's have a look at the question of profitable pay TV I mentioned before. I mean, we talked 2 years ago. Yeah. At that time, you were already confident. I mean, we show the figures here of the German business environment, and it's just very comfortable in a way when it comes to TV households, when it comes to the growth rates and the wealth of the Germans. But then there are the public stations, and they draw a lot of money. So you were confident 2 years ago.
Yes.
And how are you now? More confident?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah. A little bit more. I always try to stay cautious. There's always new competitors coming in, particularly in the field that we do business in. But the reality is this is one of the largest markets in Europe. It's the most under-penetrated pay TV market in Europe. We've had good progress over the last 4 years, but we are still a very small company, and there is still a lot of headroom to grow into.
Yeah, you see this with the under-penetrated here, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's going well. Let's have a look at the figures. And, okay, subscribers. The numbers have increased. You have a lot of growth with the subscribers. What I could see there is that the net growth is somehow slowing. So is that the right impression? Is growth somehow slowing, although it's still increasing?
No, the underlying growth is absolutely increasing.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to play with your touch screen here. I love TV technology.
We leave it with green now, yeah? It's green, fine.
So if you go over here and you see, this is our Q3 results. You see that we were relatively flat year on year. But what happened during that quarter was two things. The first was we added roughly 140,000 or 160,000 wholesale subscribers that came onto us as part of our partnership with Deutsche Telekom. And the other thing that was happening year on year was we actually closed one of our sales channels, our outbound telemarketing channel. We did that on purpose because it had a very high cost, a very high churn rate, and a very low ARPU. So that kind of skewed the underlying year-on-year comparison. But when we look at our intention to purchase pay TV and our sales from our core channels, they're all increasing on the exact same path they have been for the last 2 years. So we're quite comfortable with the way the business is developing.
So 4 million subscribers, is it just far away or is it reachable?
It's not far away. Listen, we've tried very hard not to make very specific, as you know, targets and projections. But it's kind of hard not to see us getting through 4 million customers in the next 12 months, just because of the nature of where we are now. Now, we haven't announced our fourth quarter results yet, but at the end of the third quarter, we were already at ahead of 3.5 million customers. And the fourth quarter is always one of our best-selling seasons. So you can imagine that we ended the year ahead of that. All we need is a very good year in 2014, and our momentum is increasing, and we'll be through the 4 million number pretty quickly.
Looks very promising. So let's look at another important figure called ARPU, average revenue per user. And we can see there it has also increased, but the market or the analysts are discussing whether you come to a sort of limit of ARPU. So what the people are really prepared to spend. I mean, there is still the high license fee. So are you nearing a sort of limit?
No. When I came in 4 years ago, the limit that everybody told me about was with the number of total customers, that we would never get above 2.5 or 3 million customers. Actually, 3 million customers was the so-called ceiling. At the end of our third quarter, we were already above 3.5 million, and as you said, we're well on track to go to 4 million and beyond. Our ARPU growth has been steady. It actually increased a bit in 2013 versus the previous year. And there's definitely plenty of headroom. All we have to do is keep delivering the right services and adding products that customers want. And we've been very successful with that to date, and we're pretty confident we'll be able to continue that.
So there it is, 34 euro. So what you think is maybe a limit, 50?
No, I don't think there's first of all, I don't think there's a limit, but I would be very happy if we got to 50. That will take a number of years before we're talking about that. What we focus on is the year-on-year increment, and it's a relationship between how fast we grow in terms of subscribers versus how fast we grow in terms of ARPU. Clearly, we want to do both, but they are related. 2013 was a year where we, as I said, we eliminated one of our sales channels and we did some tuning up. So our growth was a little less than what we've had in previous years, but our ARPU growth was faster. 2014, we're going to be focusing on subscriber growth and accelerating it, what we think is pretty dramatically. And in doing that, we still expect ARPU growth, but the ARPU growth might slow down just a bit. But that's a factor of whether we're focusing on subscriber growth or ARPU growth. And we'll see how the year develops.
Let's see what's about the profits. I mean, profits have improved, operational profits fine. Cash flow is still a weak point. I mean, in other words, you still burn cash.
Yes, we do.
So will that change 2015 or 2014 or even earlier?
Well, it's hard to be earlier than 2014
right,
since we're already in it.
But 2014
I would like to be able to move the clock back. Listen, we've always said that our first focus was on making sure that we would deliver a positive EBITDA for 2013. We haven't released our full year results yet, but I said just after our quarter 3 results that everything was well on track, and I'm happy to maintain that. Our business is quite predictable. Our cash flow progress pretty much follows our EBITDA progress, but on about a 12 to 15 month delayed basis. So yes, we're looking for cash flow positive in the kind of end of 2014, first half of 2015, but I need to put a caveat on that, which is if we find that we can grow even faster, in a business like ours, when you grow faster, it slows down your initial cash flow growth, but then it multiplies your cash flow growth within about 12 to 15, 18 months. If we see that opportunity for growth, we are going to go for it.
You have gone for another opportunity, football media rights. You have bought enough for the next 2 years. But it seems to be that this sort of business is like a vicious circle. I mean, you buy new football rights, and then every time the price is growing. So in the end, you come to nothing. Is it getting too expensive? Or in other words, is live football very important for your program? You would never do without it.
Live football is absolutely very important for our business. If you think of us as a building, it's the cornerstone of our business. It's where we create the rest of our opportunities from. And we've been very successful with that. You say a vicious circle. I probably think of it more as a virtuous circle. The more successful we are, the more we can share that success with our sporting partners, like the DFL, and then thus the more successful we become again. So we're not shy about how important sports rights are to us. They are center of our business. A lot of our growth is now coming from beyond sports. It's coming from movies and fiction. But sport will always be at the center of our business. I have no doubt about that.
Revenues from linear TV, everybody says, should decrease, and non-linear TV revenues should grow. I mean, you have Sky, Snap, and different sort of video on demand now. What are you planning, and do you think that non-linear TV will have a substantial part of the revenue in the near future?
Yes, as a matter of fact, indirectly it already does. When we talked 2 years ago, we were, I think, just in the process of launching our Sky Go service. And Sky Go has become the largest, what's called over-the-top on-demand service, mobile on-demand service anywhere in Germany. We've just recently launched our Snap service, which is adding as an ARPU growth driver for our existing customers. It will continue to increase as a part of the mix of our revenues, although personally I believe it'll be a long time before non-linear on-demand content as a charge-for basis starts to compete with the kind of monies that big market linear TV like football and sports rights can do.
So we are already in the future. Now the remote future, Sky within 5 years. What do you expect?
I've said this once before. If I said it with you, I apologize for repeating myself. But the media industry is full of a lot of very good people, very bright people. But it's also full of people that like to make predictions. And the only prediction that I'm ever willing to make is that anybody who tells you that knows what's going to happen in 3, 4, 5 years is wrong. Because things just change too fast. Technology changes too fast. Content interests change too fast. Consumer tastes change too fast. Business models change too fast. The way that we have tried to establish Sky is to make sure that at the center of our business is the content that we either produce or that we acquire the rights for, and that we acquire those rights in every fashion, whether it's linear, on-demand, cable, satellite, IPTV, web, and mobile, and then make it available whatever way customers want. So whatever way that future develops, we'll be there. Because we can't predict what the future is going to be. The only people that can are our customers. They're the ones who are going to dictate it.
Maybe with the stock market. Thank you very much indeed. Maybe the stock market is right, and the prediction from the stock price we have seen is a good sign. So then all these high expectations will be fulfilled one day. So that's it for now. Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.